You know, you can gauge someone's commitment to truth and justice and beauty and love by their openness to flat Earth.
Oh wait, you're serious?
Go nuts on my nuts.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Playing a Blinder with me, the Creaky Blinder. Now don't panic, this isn't technically a video about a flat earther. Now David Wolfe is a flat earther. Look, just bear with me, stick around and you'll see exactly what I mean, because there's a lot more to this video than a flat earth. Tidy!
When you get to the flat Earth, what's amazing about that, what's interesting about that is
that there are actually people that believe the Earth is flat. Now the clips we're looking at today all come from the London Real channel. Real. And they're very conveniently cut up into bite-sized chunks because there was absolutely no way I was going to sit through a 2-hour interview with this guy.
You immediately go, is the space program authentic?
Wow, I expected more from you, David Wolfe. Now, who is David Wolfe, I hear you ask? No, you didn't ask? Well, I'm going to tell you anyway. David Avocado Wolfe is an American author and product spokesperson. He promotes a variety of pseudoscientific ideas, including raw foodism, alternative medicine, obviously, and vaccine denialism. I didn't even know denialism was a word. And of course, flat Earth.
Right, you go, boom, space program. Is it authentic? Are these pictures that we're getting, satellite pictures, are they really from satellites or are they from high-altitude drone balloons?
I'm not really sure I understand your argument here, Davey, because it wouldn't matter whether they were from satellites or high-altitude... What is a high-altitude drone balloon? But anyway, it wouldn't matter. All that would matter is that the altitude was sufficient for the photograph, to show the curvature of the Earth. Right?
Right.
Right.
Now, I have been studying the people who are running the world for a very long time. And I grew up with David Icke. I mean, I've been reading that stuff since I was a kid, right?
Ah, no, that explains a lot. Do you mean David Icke, as in the David Icke that claimed he was the son of God on British television in the 80s? Or the David Icke that has been obliterated from all social medias for spreading misinformation? That David Icke?
I got kids, the kids that I've educated, they've been studying that stuff since they were 11 years old.
Excuse me? This guy is educating children? Oh dear, oh dear.
And is it possible that the world that we're living in has been misdescribed?
Well, funny you should say that, because what I
definitely know that the world we're living in has been misdescribed to us and oversimplified, including the solar system model.
Bit rude. I don't want to tell you what I think now. Anyway, you may as well carry on now.
It doesn't actually accord itself to the very accurate readings we can get today with our technology.
Now, far be it from me to criticize the way somebody chooses to express themselves through the use of words. But I feel that being a man with no accent, I'm highly qualified to do this. What do you mean it doesn't accord itself? Because to accord is to grant somebody power, status, or recognition. So why have you used the word accord here? I find it highly egregious myself.
Right, like they never predicted that it was going to come to this, right? So they were like, "Oh, we'll just run this BS story in front of these people and we'll just keep it going." But then now all of a sudden we got technology.
But isn't it that very technology that has allowed us the opportunity for clarity over the shape of the Earth? Thousands of years ago, yes, people did think the Earth was flat, but that was just because they didn't have the know-how, technology to be able to demonstrate that it's a globe. Nobody'd been up high enough to actually see it with their own eyes yet. And calling it a BS argument, is that just because it disagrees with your thoughts?
Out of all the flat Earth stuff, what's going to happen is we know the answer, and the whole thing is going to come down to Antarctica. There's something going on in Antarctica. So whatever your belief system is, where you can, crack your, this part of it or the other part of it or whatever, Antarctica. Are we getting legitimate science out of Antarctica? And do we have proof that the sun is up 24 hours in Antarctica?
Well, to answer your two questions, yes and yes. Now, Antarctica has 6 months of daylight during its summer and 6 months of darkness during its winter because of the tilt of the Earth on its axis. And the reason flat earthers choose to not believe this is because they don't even believe that we live on a globe. And the only proof we need is the ability to accept scientific fact. The direction of the Earth's tilt never changes. So for 6 months of the year, Antarctica simply does not have access to the sun.
Because the two videos, and there are only two on the whole internet, of the sun being up 24 hours in Antarctica.
Yeah, only two. 2,000 maybe.
Are provable hoaxes and frauds, which right there, right there should cause you to go, what?
Well, there are actually a lot of things about you that cause me to go, what, David? But the fact that these videos are hoaxes is not one of them. There are literally thousands of videos on YouTube of the 24-hour sun in Antarctica. So are they all fake?
Is it possible that the people who are running our governments are connected to each other in secret societies? And the answer is that's possible. Are they working together secretly? Yep, it looks like they are. That's the Council of Foreign Relations, Trilateral Commission, the Freemasonic societies of the world. Is it possible that they could have malintent, meaning that they could have intent to deceive? And the answer is, yep, certainly possible.
Well, anything's possible really, isn't it? Depending on how you look at it. And I've said this before. I'm sure that the governments of the world do hide things from us. Probably for good reason and not the reasons that conspiracy theorists think. But the question I want answers to is it possible that one day everybody who is pretending they believe the Earth is flat, because I still don't believe anyone really does believe that, is it possible that those morons will actually hold their hands up and just laugh and say, ha ha ha, we were only kidding?
You know, we're definitely under weather modification.
Definitely? Well. So when you say definitely, you mean beyond any shadow of doubt? So I assume that there's lots and lots of evidence to support this. And if somebody is modifying the weather, can they please do something about Wales? Because it's always raining here.
Right, so our governments are involved in weather modification. They have been since the 1940s. If you don't know that or not aware of it or don't care or whatever, that's cool.
Oh, thank goodness for that, because you're right, I don't care. And I also didn't know that the governments of the world were involved in weather modification, because they're not.
But if you want to look into it, start with Project Cirrus, CIRRUS, and then investigate from there. And that was a 1940s program, weather modification, seeding hurricanes, moving hurricanes around, changing the course of weather. And I think we're very deeply into that. We're very much in trouble with all that.
Now, people who have seen me before on this channel will know that I'm a big fan of asking questions. And that's exactly what I'm going to do now. So, weather modification. Let's look at a natural disaster like Hurricane Katrina, which occurred in August 2005 and absolutely devastated the city of New Orleans to the tune of $125 billion worth of damage. If weather was so easily modified and the course of cyclones was so easily changed, why didn't the government just prevent this disaster from happening and save thousands of lives?
Now, the story that we get in like conspiracy theory world is, it's all controlled by HAARP. Actually, that cannot be true.
And HAARP is an acronym for?
HAARP is high altitude, I can't remember the exact acronym, it's HAARP.
High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. You're welcome.
So I had to change my mind on that one just from research and looking at it. And this is another area where you're going to get the scientists and people freaking out, melting down. There's no such thing as chemtrails or any of that kind of stuff. And it's like, oh man, just look into it, investigate, start in the 1940s, see what's going on.
Oh, no fair. You can't say start in the 1940s. We didn't even have YouTube in the 1940s, so there would have been nobody making videos for me to investigate. Because I'm fairly certain that that's what you mean when you say investigate, isn't it? Watch YouTube videos of other people that believe in exactly the same thing as you. What do you mean that's not what research is? Are you trying to tell me that all these conspiracy theorists are wrong about their research methods?
Check out that certain flight patterns, like in California, it's really easy to see because it can't be all commercial jet aircraft, because on a Monday, there's nothing. There's no planes even. Tuesday, there's planes flying zigzag, tic-tac-toe boards up there. Wednesday, there's nothing up there. Okay. That doesn't look like commercial jet aircraft. What is that?
This is getting exhausting, and I actually have no way of verifying if what he's saying is right or wrong. I could look it up online, but I can't be bothered. Do you live in California? Do you see planes in the sky on a Monday or a Wednesday? I couldn't say.
Right? And so
Which
what
means they're probably chemtrails, not contrails.
Right. Or being conned.
For goodness sake, you're not helping. Don't encourage him. Don't start him off on bloody chemtrails. Please don't.
So for you, it's pretty obvious.
It's obvious. It's completely obvious. They've been doing it forever. And I think just like the pharmaceutical prescription, it's better living through chemistry doesn't work. You have to use more alchemical thinking, which is you have to integrate into more of the disparate elements of nature, or you have to consider astrological forces, you have to consider timing. You just can't go up there and just be like, okay, today we're going to just go do this. It's unnatural.
And basically what he's saying here, because he's very good at going off on a tangent, he doesn't believe in the intervention of chemical compounds, medication. There are a lot of people who would prefer not to take an ibuprofen tablet when they've got a headache, for example, and that's absolutely fine. But the way this guy approaches it, to say it's bizarre is a huge understatement. Just have a listen to this.
If somebody has a terminal cancer and they're urine vaccinating once a day, they will live on.
Wow.
They will live on.
So for a disease like cancer to be categorized as terminal, it must mean that all medical intervention has been exhausted and that the patient is in the end stages of that disease and they are expected to die. And what this... I don't have an adequate term to describe him. What this guy is implying is that there is a thing called urine vaccination. And what that is you inject yourself with your own urine daily, and terminal no longer means terminal. Yeah, that's what he means.
You don't have to do medical supervision. What we do is we teach people how to do it so they can do it at home. What you're doing is you're taking all of those antigens, it's antigens, I think, is the response to the antibodies that come out in your urine, and then as soon as you inject that back into you, especially it's into your fat tissue, it has to go into your fat tissue, like in your butt. What happens is your body goes, oh, that's what we're dealing with. It tightens the feedback loop.
You know what really bothers me about statements like that? Now, my own mother had cancer a number of years ago. She's in remission. Well, no, she's just cleared remission, so she's fine. But why don't people like David Wolfe think about the impact their statements have on the families that have lost loved ones to cancer? Haven't you got any compassion? Don't you care about your fellow man or woman? Still not convinced this guy's totally batshit?
Londinium is actually 12 feet below the city of London.
The reason why the oceans are salty is that's what's needed to hold the water onto the earth.
Nothing extends life longer than charcoal. 3.5 hours of inversions a day will cure you of anything and turn you into an immortal.
Deer antler is not a product. It's a cosmic substance.
Thanks for watching, everyone. If it is your first time here, please consider hitting the subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.
Alright, watch this next. But before you do, make sure you subscribe. By order of the Creaky Blinder.